This week in the Southern Discourse Kitchen, we're making these classic lemon squares. Hi, I'm Stacy and welcome to my kitchen. Now you might know this dessert as lemon bars or even as Neiman Marcus lemon squares. But whatever you call it, this is one of my favorite old school recipes. And you know how we do it, we're gonna give it a little bit of a fresh twist. So let's look at these simple pantry ingredients. We've got 4 large eggs, regular salted butter, all-purpose flour, white granulated sugar in 2 parts, powdered sugar, salt, fresh lemons, and our secret ingredient, fresh basil. So the first thing we're going to make is our crust. And it's a really simple recipe that we make in a food processor. And we start with zesting a tablespoon of lemon. So we're going to add this butter. And I'm using my large 8-cup food processor for this. You're going to need all of the room. And all of our flour, a bit of salt, and some sugar. Last but not least, that lemon zest. This is going to give our dessert a good lemon punch in every bite. And so when your dough looks like this, it looks just like crumbled up wet sand, that's how you know that it's ready to put into your pan. Now we're going to bake these in an 8x8 baking dish. I've got a metal pan here. You can use a glass one. And we've lined it with parchment paper. When we finish baking the squares, we can pull them right out. And this is going to help us cut nice, neat squares with clean edges instead of having to scoop them from the pan. So we're going to take our dough that we made in the food processor. We're just going to pour it right there in the bottom. And we're going to use our clean hands, work them around to the edge, and then we're just going to press it down, just like you would with wet sand. And this is just a quick pastry crust. Kind of tastes like a shortbread, and it's so delicious with these lemon bars. So when you get your dough all pressed down in your pan, you're just going to want to pop it in a 350-degree oven for about 18 to 20 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. So our crust is finished. You can see it's a nice golden brown. We're going to set it aside while we make our filling. Now our filling is really simple. We're just going to juice some lemons. We're going to whisk in some flour, sugar, and our eggs. Now to add our fresh basil, we're going to take our leaves and we're going to roll them up tightly. And we're just going to take our knife and thinly slice it. And that way we have these nice thin ribbons of basil that we'll add to our lemon bars. Now lemon and basil is a classic pairing. It's so fresh and light. And guys, if you could smell this, it does smell just like summer. Now we're going to pour our filling just right over that crust. And if your crust is still warm, that's okay. And then we want to stir it just a little bit to make sure that each bite gets a little basil. Now we're ready to put it back in that 350 oven for another 30 minutes, and we should have some lemon bars. Our filling is done. It's nice and set in the center. So we are ready to take our lemon bars from our pan. Now this is where this parchment paper process is really handy. So all we have to do is lift it straight from the pan right there onto our cutting board. And we pull our paper down. Look at how nice and clean our edges are. This is going to be a technique that you're going to want to use for a lot of recipes. And to finish this recipe, we're going to have a little powdered sugar and a mesh strainer. And we're just going to dust. Just a nice, generous dusting of this powdered sugar all over. Now, because these bars are so rich, I usually can get 16 little squares out of an 8x8 pan. I've made some little marks here along the side to get this as even as I possibly can. And when my knife starts to get a lot of filling on it, I'm gonna wanna take a paper towel and just clean that knife up so that I can continue to have nice, crisp cuts. So now that I've cut, I've got a couple of little gaps in my sugar. So I'm just gonna come back with another little dusting just to cover up any kind of mess ups we may have had. So let's talk about some serving suggestions, because I want your recipe to be a success, not just in the kitchen, but all the way to the table. So after we have sliced and powdered our squares, I usually move them to a serving platter. And then we're gonna take individual leaves of basil here, not big leaves, just small ones. And we're just gonna place it on top of our square. Not every square has to have a leaf, just every now and then, kind of alternate. And look at how the green pops off of that white. And this is gonna let your guests know this is not your ordinary lemon bar. This is something special. And for a final touch, I love to zest just a little extra lemon right on top of these. With the yellow and the green and the white together, this just looks so fresh. And the zest is going to give it an extra punch of color. So you know, like we always say, garnishes are really pretty, but they should also add some flavor. Now you're ready to serve your classic lemon squares with that little fresh basil surprise. So I know that these retro little lemon squares are gonna be a delight for you and your family and your friends all summer long. And I can't wait to see this recipe on your table really soon. So if you like great Southern classic recipes like this, then don't forget to subscribe, not just to the YouTube channel, but to southerndiscourse.com, where I'm cooking up all the Southern food that you know and love. From the kitchen to the table, I've got you covered.